She walked up my driveway like she owned the entire county, clipboard in hand, sunglasses like armor, voice sharp enough to cut steel. "You can't park that trailer here. It's a violation of HOA policy." I smiled, not because I was amused, but because I knew something she didn't. I wasn't under her HOA. My ranch? It was older than her entire development. But this wasn't about rules. This was about control. She hated that someone lived free, right next to the world she micromanaged, and she was determined to change that. The HOA started small: letters, petty fines, complaints about the aesthetic disruption of my barn, my fence, even the horses. They couldn't force me to join, but they could harass me until I broke. That's what they thought. What they didn't expect was that I don't fold. I build, I prepare, and I wait. Then came the final straw. One morning, I woke up to find a bright red notice stapled to my gate. "Cease operations. You are in violation of community standards." Signed, HOA. President, Karen Mitchell. That's when I realized this wasn't a misunderstanding. It was a declaration of war. What Karen didn't realize was that I owned the strip of land behind her entire block. You know, the one her HOA used for overflow parking? Yeah, that was mine. Years ago, I bought it cheap from a retiring farmer. Never thought much about it. Until now. I walked out, stood by that lot, and saw half the HOA's cars parked on my dirt. No lease, no permission, just entitlement. So I made a call, not to a lawyer, to a contractor. Within a week, the entire edge of my lot was fenced off. No warning, no notice, just cold steel and locked gates. HOA members woke up to chaos. Nowhere to park. Karen stormed over that morning, fists clenched, eyes blazing. "This is illegal," she shouted. I pulled out my deed. "This is mine," I said calmly. "And starting next week, it's for rent. Triple what you're paying now. Or find somewhere else to park." Karen's face went pale. The HOA had no alternative. And I knew this was just the beginning. It's funny how fast power shifts when people realize they're standing on land that isn't theirs. The HOA tried to rally the neighbors, but when rent notices went out, half of them came to me quietly, asking for separate deals. Turns out, most of them hated Karen too. She'd fine them for wind chimes, lawn color, even flower pot size. I became the unintentional hero, the rancher who stood his ground. I drafted contracts, clear terms, month to month, double the old price. They signed, they paid, and suddenly I was profiting off the very people who wanted me gone. Karen? She refused, parked her SUV 3 blocks down, hauled her groceries in with a scowl every time. She still sent letters, still quoted bylaws, still threatened lawyers. But now, no one listened. And I didn't stop there. I planted trees along the fence, big ones, enough to block any view of my land from their side, out of sight, out of reach. It wasn't about revenge. It was about peace. Mine. Weeks turned into months. The HOA lost steam. Karen lost her influence. Neighbors began treating me differently, waving, smiling, even apologizing. One guy brought over cookies, said, "We didn't know how bad it had gotten, thank you." I didn't need thanks, just space. Then one morning, a moving truck pulled into Karen's driveway. I watched from my porch as she packed up boxes, face tight with frustration. She didn't say goodbye, just drove off. No notice, no farewell, just silence. Later, I heard she resigned from the HOA. Someone new took over. The new president stopped by, asked if we could talk. He said they wanted to make things right. Fewer rules, more respect. I listened, then I smiled. Start by never stapling anything to my gate again. My ranch stayed. My peace returned. And Karen? She learned the hard way. You don't mess with the man who owns the land under your feet. If you love seeing HOA karma served cold, hit that like button, subscribe for more wild neighborhood battles, and drop a comment if you've ever dealt with a Karen like this. Your story might be next.